Yeah, just a minute. For those on TikTok, kindly share so other people can join. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your presence. Uh, Kindly share so other people can join. For those on Facebook, YouTube as well, I'm streaming live Facebook, streaming live YouTube, streaming live TikTok. Right. I nearly wanted to add Instagram, but it will be too much for me to concentrate. So yeah, it will be too much for me to concentrate. So I, ra- I rather stay on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube live. So I'm streaming live via three channels. So thank you for coming. Kindly share before I start the program for today. And as usual, Eid Mubarak to to the mainstream Muslims out there. Eid Mubarak, blessed Eid, right? I'll be answering questions concerning those issues, and then coming also to the main topic of discussion. I have two questions I've been asked during the week, and I decided this is the for the public. Usually, I have time to answer questions when people send me message. I do answer questions, or when they call me, I do answer questions, right? But some questions I feel like this is for the public. Some questions it's not befitting for me to just answer them privately. So I prefer to bring it on board and discuss it with the people so they can benefit from it. You get the point. So thank you all for those who are coming, those who are watching from now. We have Atik Halim Salam is from Cardiff, Wales, UK. We have Salis Jimmy. We have Abu Bakr Abdul Jalil Jenjeni Salam. Yeah. Then we have Abu Thomas. We have Kaiser, that is Sister Zainab. I see you. Salam. Baba Saidu, I see you. Salam. Abu Bakr Bangura, I see you. Peace. Musa Saidu, I see you. Salam. Then we have Chris Rian from UK, Birmingham. Thank you for coming. Salam. Thank you all for coming. For those who are not here and those who are coming later, I appreciate your support and presence. And for those on TikTok, I see, I've seen Abdul Salam. I've seen you already. I've seen Robson. I see Really Hustler. Yes, I see you. And I see Smile. I see you. Thank you for joining. One more thing missing, right? I need to get my my glass of water before I get, uh, because before it chokes me. Hamdu Ishaku, Salam, you're welcome. So let me just get my glass of water before I start the program for today, right? So thank you all for coming, right?
His name is babashuaib. So babashuaib is originally from Ghana. He is now based in Europe. He's a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion who is a Muslim. He does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran alone on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube and recently TikTok. He has a background in MSA and classical Arabic, and he has translated the Great Quran with transliteration 2021 edition and is the author of Refer to the Quran Volume 1. Brother, his name is Baba Shoaib. So Baba Shoaib is originally from Ghana. He is now based in Europe. He's a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion who is a Muslim. He does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran alone on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube and recently TikTok. He has a background in MSA and classical Arabic, and he has translated the Great Quran with transliteration 2021 edition and is the author of Refer to the Quran Volume 1. Brother.
Yeah. So thank you. We have Mapepe Salam. We have user 931. Is it 98137 and so on? Normally, for some people, their names don't appear, so I can't pronounce. I just see the username only, right? So thank you for coming once again. This is the correctional officer's page. Salam, Sister Alma Johnson, and AKA Babashuaib, right? So Babashuaib, the correctional officer, And like I said, this is the t-shirt with the logo, and it's coming soon in different colors. We're working on it, so inshallah it will be available for grabs. And people seem to ask me concerning my cap. They seem to like the caps I wear. I have them in different colors. They will also be available for those who are interested, inshallah. So you can enjoy as well. It's very flexible. And it has elastic, like it's elastic. You enjoy wearing it both whatever season. It's all season, whether summer, winter, anytime you can wear it. You enjoy wearing it. I have it in different colors, and they will be available also for grabs. And there's this conference coming on Saturday. It's Saturday and Sunday on the 1st and the 2nd of July, and it's the International Quran Translators Conference, organized by ICRA, right? Based in the US. And ICRA, I've shared it on my handles. You see it on my platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I think I shared it here as well. Kindly subscribe to their channel, because it will be broadcast live, right? It will be televised live via the online streams, right? So if you haven't registered, kindly go to their web page. If Let me see if I have it here. Is it Ikra? Yeah, kindly go to their page. It is ikra.steady. You can search ikra.steady. Just search it on Google, ikra.steady, and then you see the page, and you go and register so that you be part of the experience. For the whole world, the Quran translate people who have translated the Quran from all over the world, right? Who are going to present their point of views, and whatever work they've put in to this, to just attest to the people what they have to present, right? So for those who have the copies, you already know the potential of the translation I did, and I appreciate your support for this. Inshallah, it will be a great conference, because I know subsequently in the future we might do a live, meaning like in reality. So this is more like in the virtual aspect, where we will just have the interactions via video, where people will get to enjoy the stream live, right? Because back in the days, it's been difficult for people back in time to be able to gather Quran translators in one place in order to have a discussion. I think this is the first time I've seen this kind of thing happen, and fortunately, I happen to be part of this honorable, guest coming also. So I appreciate the support from you guys as well. Salam shorthome.com. Thank you all for coming. So we are going to move on with the topic of today, and let's see what we have on board. Yes. So thank you for coming. So like I said, I'm streaming live via TikTok, via YouTube, and via Facebook live, right? You find me, Babashuaib, the correctional officer, right? We have Kadima Khadiri. Salam. Thank you. Thank you. We have Shahad Idris. Salam. Yeah, salam to you too. Nur salam. I'm just checking the time to end the salams. So the greetings, as soon as I end, I have to focus on the program. I just don't want to leave people out of this. So kindly share so other people can get to enjoy. Like I said, by the way, to the mainstream Muslims, Eid Mubarak, right? Celebrating Eid in terms of enjoying the feast, eating, enjoying the meat, feast, is not haram, right? It's not haram. However, the Quran doesn't mention anything concerning Salat al-Eid, where you have to go for the Salat. It's not there. It's not in the Quran. And it has not been instructed by God, right? If you want to go, that's up to you, right? But however, celebrating Eid itself, when we say you are celebrating, it's like a merrymaking. Celebrating Eid itself is not haram, because we see in Quran chapter 5, verse 112 to 114, Isa alayhi salam and his disciples, they invoked God in order to give them what we call Ida, Ma'ida, to serve as Ida, to serve as Eid, a feast where they can enjoy, eat and enjoy and merry-make, right? So that on its own is Eid, right? So the reason why they call it Eid al-Adha, Adha comes from the word Hadiya, that is the sacrifice. So they call it Eid al-Adha, meaning the feast or the festival of what? Of the sacrifice. That is the animal sacrifice. So since they are doing this animal sacrifice, concerning with the time, they decided to name it that way, but it is not Islamic. It's not in the Quran, right? However, I don't see any problem when you want to enjoy the feast, eat food, and merry make. No problem with that. Animal sacrifice, yes, is part of Islam. You find it in Quran chapter 22, verse 34 to verse 36. Is there, right? So as for choosing the exact time, we have 3 months to do Hajj, right? Quran chapter 2, verse 197. The months of Hajj are well known, right? So it's not 1 month. So you can decide to do your animal sacrifice in any of the months that God has given. Ashurul Malumat, right? So it is not limited only to this time. They will tell you have to do it this time. No, right? But I have no objection or what's problem whatsoever doing it this time if you want to do an animal sacrifice. But it is not limited for only this period. That is what you should know, right? So don't let anybody tell you, oh, the animal sacrifice is only in 3 days. If you don't do it, it's gone. No, it's a lie, right? Yeah, salam, Zamani, but you, I see you writing. Abdul Rashid Mbansi, I see you. Hey, Tujis, Darilis, I see you. Thank you for coming. So celebrating Eid, eating the feast, enjoying the feast, nothing wrong, right? Nothing wrong with that. But the salat you go for is not something ordained by God. That's the difference. Unless if you are following hadith, you want to go and do it, fine. That's up to you, right? Yeah, Salis is asking me concerning the verse I mentioned concerning the Hajj. It's in Quran chapter 2, verse 197. Al-Hajj Ashhurul Ma'lumat, right? Hajj it should be in right, a well-known month. It's not only in 1 month, right? So those people in charge there, they've limited it to 1 month, 10 days, and which is dangerous for the crowd going there. Imagine gathering, for people who watch football, imagine going to a stadium with a capacity of even 50,000 people. Look at the congestion. So now going to a place which has gathered over millions of people in one place within 10 days. Come on, look at the frustration, especially for people from African countries. Go and see in Saudi Arabia how they are struggling, right? I'm not against whatever they are doing. What I'm against is the way they crowd people in one place. God, in his infinite wisdom, didn't give you only 1 month. So why, out of your ignorance and stupidity, will you limit it to just 10 days for people to struggle? Gone are the days you see sometimes people even die. A lot of people die there. Yeah. And the ignorant ones will think, oh, if I die in the Hajj, I go to Jannah. Are you kidding me? Then what about those who the kingdom belongs to them? What about those who own Saudi Arabia? Are you saying they are going to paradise? Like, only your achievement will save you on the day of judgment. Quran chapter 39, verse 61. Don't fool yourself and think if you die in Saudi Arabia, you are going to paradise. Please, don't fool yourself. It is only by your achievement God will save you on the day of judgment. Quran chapter 39, verse 60 to 61. Go and check for yourself. Okay. Yes. So thank you all for coming. So the first question I was asked during the week, that is what I'm going to address now, right? So first question, the person says, sir, with only Quran, could you tell the reason of revelations of all the verses? It says, if I want to rely on the Quran alone, me, babashuaib, if I want to stand with the Quran alone, can I tell the reason? Many times the hadith follower, the hadith use, you hear them saying sababul nuzul or asbabul nuzul. When we say sabab, it means reason, right? Sababul nuzul or asbabul nuzul, the reasons for the revelation. This is the concept the hadith use have given the people. So they make people understand there is something we call asbabul nuzul or sababul nuzul. There's no such thing in the Quran calling that we call asbabul nuzul. However, this is the answer to this question. He's asking me a question. Tell the reason of revelations of all the verses. I should tell him the reason while all the verses in the Quran were revealed. So it's just a simple answer, right, to this question. It's simple. So first of all, let's see. When we go to Quran chapter 2, and for those on Facebook and YouTube, you will be lucky enough to see the Quran when I share it on the page. But those on TikTok, you will only hear or listen to me reading, right? You will not see, unless if you're watching from Facebook and YouTube, right? Then you get to see. So I take you to Quran chapter 2, verse 185. And I share the screen. We get to see what the verse says. So in Quran chapter 2, verse 185, it says, Sharu Ramadan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran hudan linnas. The month of Ramadan is that in which the Quran was revealed as guidance for mankind, right? Sharu Ramadan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran hudan linnas. Then he says, وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ, and to serve as the proofs of the guidance and the criterion. That is the reason why God revealed the Quran. That is the reason, number one. That is the reason. God brought down the Quran to serve as a guidance for mankind, not for the Arabs. As some ignorant mushriks think that the prophet is just sitting out of nowhere. Then Jibril will come to him and he said, Prophet, why is your people drinking water like this? And I'm going to send you a verse. The verse tells them to do this before this. and where I came from in Ghana, we call it Gatana, meaning story. Like, story. For those from Nigeria, you know what they say, story. So the hadith books, they give you story. No sense inside. So it's nonsensical, right? To just say, oh, something has to happen before God sends the verse. So God doesn't want to guide people. Something has to happen, right? Okay. So Quran chapter 2, verse 185 give the first reason why God sent down the Quran, to serve as a guidance for mankind. So the Quran in its entirety is to serve as a guidance for mankind, and then to give proofs of the what guidance and the criterion. So when we say criterion, we are talking about al-Furqan. Furqan is something which helps you to distinguish the right from wrong, right? So Furqan, farq, firak, something to separate the wrong from right? So you have it, Furqan. So that is the purpose of the Quran itself, as to serve as the guidance for mankind as well. So it gives you proofs of the guidance, right? Any proofs you want to know concerning your deen is found in the Quran, right? You'll be a fool to say the Quran doesn't have the answers, but the garbage books your scholars give you are the ones who has the answers. To the extent some foolish people will ask you, if you're going to follow the Quran alone, how do you sleep with your wife? Are you a fool? The prophet's father and mother, how did they sleep with each other before giving birth to the prophet? Did they have to follow your garbage books? So that is the first answer. And then the second answer is in Quran chapter 28, Surah Al-Qasas, 28, verse 85 to verse 86, right? And let's see what the verse says. Chapter 28, verse 85 to verse 86. It says, indeed, the one who has enjoyed the Quran on you, it says, Inna allazi farada alayka al-Quran la radduka ila mad. Then he says, Kul rabbi alamu man jaa bil huda. Then he says, Waman huwa fi dalalin mubin. Indeed, the one who has enjoined the Quran on you will return you to a place of return. That is mad. Then he says, Kul, say, my Lord is aware of one who comes with the guidance and one who is in clear error. Then verse 86. Ma kunta tarju. Listen what God is telling the prophet. ما كنت ترجو أن يلقى إليك الكتاب إلا رحمة من ربك. And he says فلا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين. Now God is saying, and you, Muhammad alayhi salam, the prophet, you, Muhammad, the honorable man, you, Muhammad, the same man the hadith used are claiming you are the best of creation, which the Quran doesn't say. You, Muhammad alayhi salam, the same man, honorable man, they are accusing you of marrying a 6 years old girl, which I know that only fools will tag him like that. And you were not expecting that the book will be what? Will be delivered to you. You, Muhammad, it is not me saying, God, the one who sent him as a messenger, is telling him, not me. And you, Muhammad, were not expecting that the book, Al-Kitab, will be what? Will be delivered to you, Muhammad. It wasn't as if he was sitting down and waiting, as the foolish mushriks will tell you. Oh, the Sahabai, he's sitting with the disciples or the Sahaba, the companions, and then somebody just came, hey, prophet, I saw my wife fornicating. What should I do to her? Go and stone her. Just like that. According to which verse and which book? Hey, Allah bushirika gaba ku jin magana. And you were not expecting that the book would what? Will be delivered to you. But it is a mercy from your Lord. So the Quran, the Al-Kitab, is to serve as a mercy from your Lord. You weren't expecting, you, Muhammad, was never expecting the book, right? So he wasn't expecting that a book will be given to him. As the foolish mushriks keep saying, that, oh, when he was young, an angel came from the roof of the Kaaba, and then he opened his chest, and he put the silver tray of gold, and then he took him to the sky, and then he gave him full of wisdom, and then he knew he would be a prophet. Hey, mushrikanga. You guys know Tuli, Papa. No wonder you are scared of correctional officer. Abar ku resign, kun gani. Mushrikai. Why is it? Hey, salam, tikas, adabs. So God is telling the prophet, and you were not expecting that the book will be delivered to you, Muhammad, but it is a mercy from your Lord, right? And God says, so do not be an assistant to the what? Disbelievers, kafirin. Then verse 87 says, nor shall you be diverted from the verses of God. Where do we find the verses of God? In the Al-Kitab. You will be a fool to think God has sent other verses in other garbage books not belonging to the Al-Kitab. Wallahi, you are the biggest fool if you think God's verses are found in a book after the Quran, not before the Quran, after the Quran, and you think they are the verses of God, and you think that is Al-Kitab. Imam Bukhari, the book he wrote, Sahih Bukhari, is it the book of God? Is it Al-Kitab of God? The Sahih Muslim you are following, is it Al-Kitab of God? So why fool yourselves? Nor shall you be diverted from the verses of God. Where? Because they are in the Al-Kitab given, right? After when they have been revealed to you, and invite to your Lord, not invite to your Sunnah. Well, Prophet Muhammad doesn't have a Sunnah. You'll be a fool again to attribute a Sunnah to him when he himself is telling you to follow the Millata Ibrahim Hanifa. وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Quran chapter 3, verse 95. Quran chapter 3, verse 95. The messenger, the prophet, is telling you to follow the Millata Ibrahima. Out of your foolishness, you said, oh, we are following the Sunnah of the prophet. Hello, excuse me. Is it just the book of God you hate? When God is precisely telling you words of wisdom, That's why it says, Yasin wal Quran al Hakim. The Quran is a wise book. You leave this wise book to go and follow garbages with foolishness. A book telling you your prophet married 6 years old girl. You are rejoicing, you are happy. A book telling you your prophet sleeps with 11 women in one night. You are happy. A book which tells you your prophet was bewitched. You are happy. A book which tells you your prophet wants to sleep with a woman and she shamed him in public. You are happy. A book who tells you that your prophet brought a concubine on the bed of one of his wives. You are happy. Mushrikenga. And you think this same garbage book is telling you to leave your beard, and you think your beard will take you to Jannah. You are the biggest fool ever. Come to Europe and see. You see a lot of atheists and others, they have long beard. Come and see. You call that Sunnah? The correctional officer will wake you up by force. So Quran chapter 28, verse 85 to 87 is clear as day and night. The Al-Kitab, which contains the Al-Quran, which contains the Ayatullah, you shouldn't be diverted away from it. And you should invite to your Lord. This is what God is telling you. He should invite to his Lord, right? So now, nor shall you be diverted from the verses of God after when they have been revealed to you, and invite what? To your Lord. So invite to your Lord. That is what God told Prophet Muhammad. So why are you fooling yourselves? Why are you coming to invite people to Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim? People who they never met the Prophet, they wrote books for you about your Prophet, and you believe it. Persians. Imam Bukhari is a Persian. Sahih Muslimi is a Persian. You take these books of Persians, not even Arabians, and you're using their book and telling me that they are telling you about a prophet they never met. And you accept that, right? And when you are being woken up, you think, I'm your enemy. So don't stop fooling yourselves. Stand far away and insult me, no problem. But I dare your scholars to step forward. They will resign. So we see in Quran chapter 28, verse 85, verse 86 to verse 87, clearly as day and night, why the book was revealed and why the Quran was revealed and why the verses of God were revealed. There's nothing called Asbabul Nuzul there. Prophet Muhammad was never expecting the book to be delivered to him. He wasn't as if he's waiting at the bus station. You know, when you are expecting a bus, you're waiting for aeroplane or bus, or you are waiting for a car. You know how the expectation is, right? You already know it's coming, right? You check the clock. It's late. Oh, Prophet Muhammad was never expecting the Quran or the book to be delivered. So don't fool yourself saying Asbabun Nuzul. You are the dumbest fool ever in history of mankind. If you believe in those garbage books, keep telling you the same prophet went to the sky to bring you 5 prayers. And they say he negotiated from 50. Hey, do you think it's a second-hand shop where you go to do business? He negotiated. And when he was coming, Moses he told him, go back. Your people cannot. Allah, what is wrong with these people? Anyways, it's okay. Let's go to the next one. Hey. Anyways, no problem. Eid Mubarak. So God says, and invite to your Lord, but do not be among the mushriks, the polytheists, the mushrikai. God says, do not be among them. The ones who call themselves Al-Sunnah, Tijaniya, Shia, Qadiriya, Ahmadiyya. Please stop calling yourself there, like those names, because you are a mushrik. Your Prophet Muhammad was never a Shia. He was never Tijaniya. He was never Ahmadiyya. He was never Salafiyya, Wahhabiyya. You are all mushriks. I'm telling you look, the saddest fact. Look, the bitter truth is better than sugar-coated lies. Wallahi. So invite to your Lord, but do not be among the mushriks. So this is what God told the Prophet. He was not part of the mushriks. Quran chapter 27 verse 91, he says, wa umirtu an akuna min al-muslimin. He the prophet, that's what he said. He has been commanded to be of the Muslims, not Ali Sunnah, not Shia, not Tijaniya, not Salafiyya, not Wahhabiyya, not Istiqama. Huh? Now, but do not be among the what? The polytheists. Yes. Now, so we see the answer to the question the brother was asking, that saying that, please, sir, with only the Quran, could you tell the reason of revelations of all the verses? I'm giving you the answers to the reasons why God revealed the Quran. The Quran, number one, is to serve as a guidance for mankind. The Quran, number two, is to serve as the Furqan. The Quran, number three, is to serve as a mercy for mankind. The Quran, number four, it is the verses of God that will guide you to your Lord. And I'm going again. Okay. So Quran chapter 6, verse 155 to 157. Let's see what God has to say, right? So Quran chapter 6, verse 155, God says, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ مُبَارَكٌ. So he's saying, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَاتَّقُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. So God says, and this is a blessed book. He's pointing, God is emphatically pointing the book and telling you haza. In Arabic, when the word haza is used, is to point something in front of you, right? Something you have and is in front of you. So haza, wahaza, God is telling you, this is a blessed book, not a garbage book, not the book full of trash like the other books the scholars give you. So this is a blessed book. That is the Quran. So, and this is a blessed book which we have revealed, because God never revealed Sahih Bukhari hadith, nor Sahih Muslim hadith, nor Jami al-Tirmidhi, nor Abu Dawood, nor Sunan ibn Nisa. He never revealed such garbages. God revealed a blessed book, a blessed book, not books of hadith, right? So, and this is a blessed book which we have revealed. So follow it, not follow them. It's a book, a blessed book, not books that the hadiths and the garbages. No. Book. So follow it, singular. Only the domir is who, a masculine pronoun. You be the dumbest fool to think he's talking about other books after the Quran. Not before the Quran. Before the Quran, we have Torah, we have Injila. Of course, they don't have the copies now, right? What they have is made up, man-made ones where they call it the Bible, or so not that. But we are talking about the book of guidance God has given you. He says, so follow it. When something is your guidance, it's like you are using a navigator. You have to follow what the navigator is telling you, right? So follow it and become what? Pious. So you beware, you follow the book, because God says in Quran chapter 2, verse 2, he says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. When something is a guidance for you, you attain piousness from it. So he says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Right? So, and this is a blessed book which we have revealed, so follow it. And become pious, so that you will what? You may attain mercy. If you need the mercy that God has revealed in the Al-Kitab, just follow it and attain the mercy. But the foolish ones will tell you, oh, Akhi, you can't follow the Quran alone. Akhi, how do you pray? How are you going to do the Hajj? How can you sleep with your wife? Some of the dumbest questions they will be asking you is no problem. So God is making things easier for you. So we go to chapter 6, verse 156. Then God says, lest you say the book was only revealed to two factions before us. And indeed, we were unaware of their studies. 157. Or you say, if only the book was revealed to us, we would have been better guided than them. Therefore, an evidence has come to you, my people. Listen carefully. From your Lord, as guidance and mercy. The book, remember, the book is to serve as hudan and rahmah. That is why he sends the messenger with it. Yeah? So who is more unjust than one who denies the verses of God, like the mushriks? When they hear me reciting or reading the verses of God, it's like it's boiling them up. Go and bend the sea. It's boiling them up with rage, frustration. Seriously. You are dealing with babashuaib, the correctional officer. You have to frustrate yourself. I'm serious. Because it's not about strength, right? It's about wisdom and knowledge. I'll beat you with wisdom and knowledge to the core. Face me. Be a man. Call me if you're a scholar watching me. Call me if you're a mushrik. Wallahi, I'll embarrass you. I'll make you resign. That's why your scholars are scared of me. So if you're biting your fingers in rage, don't bite your fingers. Go and bite your scholar's hand and tell him, why can't you stop this guy? And see how I make your scholars resign. It's simple. فَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. We will requite those who turn away from our verses with an evil what? Punishment for what they have been what? Shawning. You're turning away from the book of God, huh? Right? To turning away from the book of God. No problem. Keep following the garbage books you are following, right? It's okay. Just follow those books you are following. But you're turning away from the verses of God. Babashuaib is waiting for you. So now we see clearly from the verses, Quran chapter 6, verse 155 to 157 is very clear as day and night. This is the reason why God revealed the revelations to you, to guide you, to give you mercy, to straighten your life, so that you don't behave like sheeps. Don't you see the ones who don't follow the Quran, how they act like sheep? When the scholar says something, is akaramakallah, mashallah, Allahu Akbar. Yes. Yeah, I love it. This guy is, oh my God. My God. No problem. So that is the first question. So the person was asking if if I'm going to follow the Quran alone, then I should show what are the reasons why God revealed the revelations of all the verses. And that is the reasons I just gave you. The answers are clear in the Quran. It's simplicity, right? There's no complexity to this. Simplicity. So the first question is done, right? Omar Chatman, I see you. Salam, brother. Yes, Sally says they lack good judgment. Yes, I agree. Abdul Samad says that's true. Ruin Azizi says salam, brother. Eid Mubarak. Yeah, Eid Mubarak, brother. Quran alone is the truth. Says peace, peace. Musa Arabago says, MashaAllah, Baba, your voice sweet like honey. When you're reading the Quran, you are the teacher of teachers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the fun support, right? I appreciate that. Bawa Mark says, salam. Bawa Naganka, I see you. Salam. Let me read some of the comments before I go to the next question. Samira to Alasan says, Islamic Embassy GH, call your Lion King OT for wisdom from the Quran. They are scared. Now, forget about those comedians. They are scared of, right? Okay, let me see. What am I missing on TikTok? Pisco says, God bless you. God bless you too, brother. I appreciate that. Gumbo says, what is your Akida? You tell me yours. Tell me yours first. Gulpe says, how about reciting Quran for the dead? Is it permissible? It does no good. The dead, they are dead. That's why they call dead. Dead, they are dead. You recite it, doesn't do anything for them. Don't waste your time. Recite the Quran for those who are alive. They have to benefit from it. Huh? Uh-huh. Bless you, brother Ibrahim. You're welcome. Gumbo, if you, me and you, we are going to do I ask first. Then, oh yeah, be in the queue. let me deal with people who are here to learn. Kaju Shaki, who I ask first? Okay. Yes, Ayuba says, yeah, my people are funny. They are. Who do we have? Bekin Behambu says, Eid Mubarak to all Muslims. Yeah, Eid Mubarak to you too. Bekin, nice to meet you. Who do we have? I'm just reading comments before I go to the next question. So bear with me, right? Dracula 2000 says exactly, I can't afford Hajj. Quran chapter 3 verse 97, God says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. So whoever has the capability of the means to it, that's the one who has to go. So Hajj is not compulsory. Remember that. The Hajj is not compulsory. It is for those who are capable of the means to it. If you have capability, fine, you can go and it's just for visitation. You go and visit, right? That is it. And you are doing it for God. You are not doing it for the prophet. You are not doing it for anybody, right? Not for the Arabs, not for anybody, for God. Quran chapter 3, verse 97. Read it for yourself. Okay, so I guess that is it for TikTok. Let me go. Yeah, Ibrahim Waziri says they will keep insulting when you are telling them the truth. I know, the truth is painful. Quran chapter 43, verse 78, God says, we have brought you the truth, but most of you hate the truth. So when people hate the truth, they start to call you names, they insult you. Some people say, babashuaib, you are insulting people. Tell me who I've ever insulted. Who? Who did I insult? Who is a fool? A fool is someone who lacks good judgment. That's a fool. If I call you a mushrik is somebody who tells you cannot practice Islam alone with God except you associate something with it. So that is a mushrik. What is a mushrik? Somebody who does shirk. What is shirk? To associate something with something you don't have permission. That is shirk. So who does the shirk? A mushrik. So a Sunni is a mushrik. Tijaniya is a mushrik because according to them, you have to follow certain principles their scholars put down before you can follow Islam. So Quran chapter 42 verse 21, God says, Am lahum shuraka'u shara'u lahum min ad-din ma lam yazanu billah. Because min ad-din, the deen they set for themselves, this one says Sunni Islam, this one says Shia Islam, this one says Tijaniya Islam, this one says Ahmadiyya Islam, this one says Tariqat, Salafiyya, this one says Wahhabiyya, this one says Istiqama, this one says Ibadiyya, this one says, you look at the names as if they are football teams or academies. What is this? Who gave you that? So which one does the prophet belong to? And where did he say himself, I am Al Sunnah or I am Sunni? Why? And when you are told the truth, you say, I'm insulting. Tell me, bring me evidence of one of your scholars that I've insulted. Or where did I insult you? If you are a fool, what name should you be called? Have you ever seen a criminal who has stolen and he went to steal and he's not called a criminal? He's a thief. It's a name. It's a description of what you do. Why do you think Quran chapter 109, God instructed the messenger to call the disbelievers, Kul, Ya ayyuhal kafirun? It's not an insult. They are kafirs because they reject the Quran and they reject God. So calling those people those names is never illegal. It's never even an insult. Just like atheists call themselves atheists and they will admit they are atheists. And who is atheist? Somebody who doesn't acknowledge God. So where is the insult? You are a mushrik. You've earned it. Be proud of it. Because you are telling me, the one following the Quran, that I'm astray according to your own scholars, not according to God. Because I dare your scholars to face me. You keep running like zebras or donkeys away from the lie of Farrat min Kaswara. I don't have horns. The scholars are scared. So that's it. So let's go to the second question. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Salam Mawiyah, I see you. Salam, Nara Power, the boss Amadu, I see you. Prince Abdul, Baba said, thank you. I see you all. Thank you for coming. Sadiq Ali Sharian says, Salam, brother. Brother, keep doing what you're doing. Sooner or later, they will need to confront the truth. Yes, it's obvious. They will have to. The bitter truth is better than sugar-coated lies. CD Redder is laughing. He says, football teams. They are football teams. What else can I say? Sadiq says, it was hard for me to believe because the lies I was taught was too appealing to me because I was lost. Alhamdulillah, I now accept the truth and my life has been all good and clear. That's it. It's simple. Quran chapter 22 verse 78, God says, Huwa ajtabakum wa ma ja'ala alaykum fid din min haraj. He is the one who has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in the deen, in the religion, right? There's no difficulty. So if you're finding your Islam difficult, just ask yourself a second question. Why is this difficult? Then you find out that it's not coming from God. Because Quran chapter 17 verse 36 says, وَلَا تَخَفُوا مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. So ask yourself, you pray 5 times, right? Can you face correctional officer and prove it to me 5 times? I dare you. And I dare your scholars. Let them try. Wallahi, any of your scholars who can face me face to face and prove to me 5 salats from the Quran, I'll wash his panties for him. I'm serious. You dare me. And let your scholars step forward. This is a tip of the iceberg. I'm just helping you to reason, right? Do the things the Quran asks you and stop doing what is irrelevant. Some things are irrelevant, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Salma Jonesy says, yeah, I had a couple days ago that someone think you are very arrogant, insulting, and too much disgrace, aka sex people. I have never once seen you be nasty to someone truly seeking knowledge. Never ever. Yeah, that is why I put the correctional officers then there, for them to see how I comport myself for them. Right? They because what they seem to misunderstand is when I sit here and I mention words, they think I'm using slur words or offensive. I know how emotions work. They are emotional. That is why most of them I write emotional mushrik to them. Because to them, you are hating their ego. Their ego is the mushrik ideology. So when I strike that ideology, it pins them to the core, and then the only counter attack they can do is to say, he is insulting us. Look, he is arrogant. Abraham was tagged as arrogant, right? Suleiman was tagged as arrogant. Even Moses was tagged as arrogant by Pharaoh, right? Because people hate the truth. When you tell them the truth, no matter how it is, the first word they find is arrogance, right? They tell you arrogance. So let them do what they want. Yeah. So 2G says, remember to call me when you go. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me go to the second question. So the second question is that in Quran chapter 9, verse 128, I'll put the verse. Unfortunately for those on TikTok, oh, sorry. Those on TikTok, somebody's asking something I didn't see. Where do you learn, please? God never wrote any book. No, nobody is saying God wrote any book here. Yeah, Malik Yakubu, good evening, brother. Gulpe says, brother, is there anything in the Quran called sadaqatul jariyah? No sadaqatul jariyah. There is sadaqah, but no sadaqatul jariyah. The word sadaqah, you find it in the Quran. Quran chapter 9, verse 60. Sadaqat or sadaqah is there concerning how sadaqahs should be distributed. But there is nothing called sadaqatul jariyah. They gave it that name, but forget them. That is the concept of hadith. Okay, on TikTok, I didn't miss much. So, yeah. Yes, Kaiser, that's true. What you said is true. They won't take the offer I give them, right? I know. Instead, they will try to tear you as a person down. That's what they do. They look for your things, personality, something to just tag you down with, right? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So that is the point. Yeah. Like I keep saying, if you are emotional, correctional officer's page is not for emotional people. If you cannot tolerate the truth to your face, uh, correctional officer's page is not for emotional people, right? It's not. So please, correctional officer's page is for people who are willing to hear the truth, no matter how hardcore it is. They are willing to hear or listen to the truth, right? So if you're here for the truth, then you can be my friend. We are here together for the truth, right? Sometimes I just need to be a bit jovial to put some, entertaining, not too serious always, right? I try to be, sarcastic a bit, but it helps. It makes the conversation interesting and flows easily for people to understand what I mean, right? People who know me in real life, you know how I am, down to earth. I cooperate with people peacefully, respectfully. So that's the point. Uh, Omar Chatman says, "Dead is dead. No need to recite." Yes, dead is dead. Sadiq Ali says, "Baba Shai, please send me your cash app. I need to help you for my sake." I don't think I have a cash app, right? I don't know. I think I've registered it before, but I'm not sure. But however, for those who are willing to support my movement, you can. I have a PayPal. You can, yes, PayPal. You can search me with the name Bush 2G9 or Shoaib Abdullah. You find me there. Uh, PayPal, yes. Usually every 6 months, I organize GoFundMe where we feed the elderly people back in Ghana, right? I think I'll be doing that again, maybe somewhere August. Yeah, because the last time we did it in March, April or so. So normally I do it 6 months. That I prefer more the weights to go there more than me, right? So if you find my PayPal page with the name Shoaib Abdullah, you find me there. You can search, you see me, or Bush 2G9, you find me there. Thank you for the support. Samira to Al Hassan says, "Thank you, Abdullah. Thanks for linking me to the correctional. I like his teaching." Thank you very much for the support, Samira to Al Hassan. You are welcome. I deal with people who use their logic, rationality, right? But uh, I call people to the truth, to follow the words of God, right? But you have to follow it with logic, with reasoning, and then with your heart, right? Not emotions, right? Emotions should be the last thing you ever use when it comes to the matters of the deen. Yes, emotion. Mohammed Mubarak Salam. Okay, we are taking more time. Let's go to the second question. So the second question is based on Quran chapter 9, verse 128. That is in Surah to Tawbah, right? Many a times people say this verse has been interpolated in the Quran, and then they will say, oh, because the verse is praising the prophet and is attributing the attributes of God to the prophet, that's why it doesn't belong to the Quran, and this and that and this. So let's see, does it actually befit the messenger? Those titles he's been addressed in the Quran or not? Let's see, right? So Quran chapter 9, verse 128. Unfortunately, for those on TikTok, you will not see the verse when I share it on here. You will not see it, right? They have certainly come to you. The context is about the Arabs because he was a messenger among them. Quran chapter 14, verse 4. God sends a messenger in the language of his people in order to clarify for them, right? So there has suddenly come to you a messenger among yourselves, that is the Arabs at that time. So affectionate to him is what you suffer, meaning he's being affected. The word affectionate comes from the word to affect, right? So it affects him. So he's affectionate to that. Affectionate to him is what you suffer. Being concerned over you. To the believers, he is what? Kind and what? Merciful. So to the believers, this messenger is kind and merciful. Now, these two attributes, people are saying, no, the messenger or the prophet shouldn't have the attributes of God. This doesn't signify that he is a God, or it doesn't make him a God. The word Ra'ufun and the word Rahim does not make the messenger a God. So I'm going to break this instance down, right? So based on this, we have people who will tell you this verse and the last verse are not part of the Quran. Some people will tell you that, right? But whilst forgetting that Quran chapter 41 verse 42 says, La yatihi al-batil min bayni yadayhi wala min khalfi. Falsehood cannot approach the Al-Kitab, the book, from the front or from the back. No falsehood. So is the truth you have. So does the prophet qualify, or the messenger, does he qualify to end these titles Ra'ufun Rahim? Because there is no even, it doesn't have a marifa. There's no adatul tarif added to the word Ra'ufu. It doesn't say Ar-Rahuf. It doesn't say Ar-Rahim. But even if the verse was to say Ar-Ra'ufu Rahim, we are going to see, right? Good. Even if the verse was to say that, we are going to see. So that is Quran chapter 9, verse 120. So the question was asked, that the Ra'ufur Rahim, are these words, are they the attributes of God alone? Or can the messenger also be called Ra'ufur Rahim? The answer is yes, he can be called. And I'm going to show the examples, right? Okay. Now, those attributes doesn't mean they are the names of God, right? The attributes doesn't necessarily make it the names of God, but we are going to see. Now, I take you to Quran chapter 11, verse 87. So we are going to see Prophet Shu'aib, the attribute his people gave him. What does that make him, right? They said, oh Shu'aib, does your communication suggest you that we should leave what our fathers worshipped, or we should not do with our wealth what we want? Indeed, you are clement and sensible. So in Arabic, it says, Innaka la antal halimul rashid. So the al-halim is a definite article. Al-rashid is a definite article. Now, if we are to examine this critically, we might say al-halim, oh, God calls himself al-halim. Oh, al-rashid, oh, maybe that is for God alone. How come they are calling Prophet Shu'aib, giving him those titles? Does that make him a God? No, they are just attributes, right? It's just like you say Shu'aib is the king. You use the word the king. If we bring it into Arabic, it means al-malik. You see, al-malik, the king in Arabic. Does that make me a God? No. You see the point? Salam, Brother Hassan. It doesn't make me a God necessarily. So understand how it works. The next example is in Quran chapter 44, verse 49. So God was punishing Fir'aun on the day of judgment, was punishing not only Fir'aun, but anyone who claims to be a tyrant on earth or trying to call himself a god on earth. If God is dealing with such a person on the day of judgment, this is what God says. Then pour from the torment of what? Magma over his head. Taste, indeed, you the criminal were the almighty and the what? Honorable, whilst you are on earth. So God used the word. He says, Zuk. Here, he says, Zuk. Innaka antal azizul kareem. So, anta azizul kareem, you see al-aziz. You see al-aziz. Then you see al-kareem. So, are you saying this attribute is only for God? No. Here is God on the day of judgment, even calling somebody that innaka antal azizul al-kareem. So, are you saying these are only for God, attributes of God? No. It can be attributed to anybody, so far as the person has not been idolized in the godly status. You have to understand how attributes work. So that is another example. The next example is in Quran chapter 28. Quran chapter 28, verse 26. So when Musa alayhi salam went to Midian, he saw two women. He helped them to fetch water. And when one of them, they came back, one of them came and told him, my father has invited you in order to pay you, right? Aha. Jamila Musa Naganke, I've seen you. Salam. Thank you. Aha. So out of these two, one of them came, one of them said, oh, my father, hire him. Like that is the time after she called Musa to come and she told her father to hire Musa alayhi salam, right? So here it says, one of them said, oh, my father, hire him. Indeed, the best you can hire is the strong and the what? Trustworthy. So let's go to Arabic, right? When we go to Arabic, we can see here the lady say, Inna khayra mani ta'ajarta kawiyul amin. So here is saying the best you can hire as ta'ajarta is the strong and the what? Trustworthy. Do you see? The strong and the trustworthy. So when we bring it in Arabic, it's al-kawiyu and al-amin. So are we going to say since Musa alayhi salam was tagged as al-kawiyu and al-amin, does that actually make him a god? The answer is no. It's just an attribute. You attribute to someone, right? Aha. So then again, we go to the next example. We go to Quran chapter 12, verse 55. Quran chapter 12, verse 55, it says, he, Joseph, said, appoint me. That was when the king invited Joseph to come and then asked him what position he needed, right? So he, Joseph, said, appoint me over the treasures of the land. Indeed, I am mindful and erudite. So he, Joseph himself says, Inni Hafiz. He says, indeed, I am Hafiz, Inni Hafiz Alim. So he tagged himself as Hafiz, which is mindful, somebody who can put two things to the mind and preserve things in the head. So Hafiz, and then he says Alim, meaning he's erudite, he's knowledgeable. You understand? So this is Yusuf alayhi salam tagging himself. Does that make him a god? The answer is no. It's an attribute. Right? Aha. So we see all these examples in the Quran. They are just attributes. It doesn't make someone necessarily a god. So Quran chapter 9, verse 128, terming the messenger as a Ra'ufun, Rahim, doesn't make him a god. It's just an attribute. Right? Aha. So here, I'm going to give you examples. Even if the messenger was tagged as a Rahim, somebody will say, oh no, but the Rahim is for God alone. So we are going to check. Can we call other people Rahim? The answer is yes, we can. We are going to see the evidence. I take you to Quran chapter 7, verse 155. Sorry, chapter 7, verse 151, right? That is Surah Al-Araf. He, Moses, said, Lord, forgive me and my brother, and admit us into your mercy, for you are the most merciful of those who are merciful. So the word most merciful in Arabic is arhama. Arhamu is in the superlative form. It's a comparative word. So in the superlative form is arhamu. Arham. So the word in Arabic it says wa anta arhamu rahimin. So those who are rahim, among those who are rahim, God is the arhamu. Is most merciful of them. People can be merciful. A king can be merciful. Your boss can be merciful. Your mother can be merciful to you. Do you understand? It's an attribute. So this attribute, God is the most merciful of those who are merciful. So when we have those who are merciful, of course, we can put the messenger among those who are merciful. There's nothing wrong. It's just an attribute. So understand the difference between an attribute and then claiming somebody is a God. There's a difference. The next example can be found in Quran chapter 21, verse 83. Chapter 21, verse 83. And Job, when he called his Lord, indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of those who are merciful. So Job, he told God, Wa anta arhamu rahimin, and you are the most merciful in a superlative form, most merciful of those who are what? Merciful. Do you see? So rahimin are those who are merciful. Arhamu is a superlative form of showing mercy. So the most merciful of those who are merciful. So there's no problem when the messenger is tagged as Rahim as well. No problem with that. Then we go again. The next example is in Quran chapter 12, verse 92. In Quran chapter 12, verse 92, he, Joseph, said, there is no blame on you today, right? Then he says, God will forgive you, for he is the most merciful of those who are merciful. So here, وَهُوَ arhamu rahimin. So he, God, is the most merciful of those who are merciful. So people can be merciful as well. And it's just an attribute. It doesn't necessarily make them gods. The last example is found in Quran chapter 12, verse 64. He, the father, said, shall I entrust you with him, just as I entrusted you with what? His brother, that is Joseph, before. Then he says, but God is the best guardian, for he is the most merciful of those who are merciful. You see here. So he, God, here, the father is saying, Wahuwa arhamu rahimi. You see, he is the most merciful of those who are merciful. So it's just an attribute. It doesn't necessarily make what? Those who are part of the Rahimid gods. No, it's just an attribute, and God does it best or better than everyone else, right? So that brings to the conclusion, based on the question I was asked concerning chapter 9, verse 128, people claiming that the Ra'ufur Rahim attributed to the messenger, does that necessarily make him a god, or does it raise him to the position of God? No. Nowhere will you ever find someone else in the Quran to be tagged as God next to God, unless if it is coming from the mushriks, the kafirs, the atheists, and so on. Do you see the point? So the messenger doesn't have the position of God, and it's just clear as day and night. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? Thank you very much, brother Omar Chatman. I appreciate the gifts. I was just gifted $20 here. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. So we have Balogun says, salam to you. Thank you for coming. Mohammed Mubarak, it says, please, what's your take on 24 verse 2? I'll come to that. I've just pinned your question. I'll come to that. I've just done 1 hour, 10 minutes. I will come to people. Let me see. Stephen Owogbo, thank you. Omar Chatman says, can you explain usury and interest? That is a good one. I have a video. I think I did a video on it, but I can answer the question now. Let me just pin your question. I can answer it. Then we have yes. So just like this brother Sadiq, there is also this option called super chat. Yes, just like brother Omar Chatman just did. There's a super chat option. Yeah, there's the option. You can use that. That is even preferable than the cash app and other things, right? So this option is much better. The super chat, or maybe you want to support me on TikTok, fine. I appreciate that. Let me pin the question. I've pinned brother Omar Chatman's question. I've pinned Mubarak, Mohammed Mubarak. I've pinned your question. I'll come to it. Sister Almas Johnson says what? I really appreciate these elaborate explanations. You always bring in proof from the Quran, explaining and breaking down the language sublime. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Yusuf Saliu says, give me stars. Thank you. Thank you for the stars as well. Now, before I go to the questions I was asked on YouTube, right? Before I come to the questions I was asked on YouTube, let me go to TikTok and see what people are saying here. So on TikTok, Malik Yakubu says, how do we name a child according to the Quran? How do we name a child according to the Quran? If you go to Quran chapter 3, verse 35 to verse 36, the mother of Maryam, she named Maryam by giving her a name and then pray to God. Does it? You don't need to slaughter any animal or something. The last time I checked, Maryam, she gave birth to Isa. She didn't slaughter any lamb or goat or something. The last time I checked, you check throughout the Quran, there's nothing like this is the fixed routine when you give birth to a child, you have to name a child. Just give the child a name. There's nothing wrong, right? My daughter, the same day she was born, I gave her a name. Does it? There's nothing ritualistic you have to do in order to say I have to cut a lamb, slaughter this. No, it's if you want to do it to dedicate it to God, fine. But there's no ritualistic standard, right? Awuni Dogoyaro says, pick me up. I have some questions for you, please. Just type your questions, right? I'm doing a full program, not only on TikTok. I'm on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. If you come, you waste my time. So write your question, I'll come to you. Ak Isaac Amin says, correctional officer, I would love to see you in Nigeria educating mushriks. Configure, reset, format their brain. Hey, they would not accept to. Hey, please, don't go there. To configure, reset, and format, they would never agree. Hey, no, don't go there. They don't know anything about Islam. I agree. They don't know anything. Imagine the stoning of innocent person in Sokoto because of a mere argument. Yes, normally the ignorant ones do that. You never see their scholars or anything. Look, ladies and gentlemen, when you watch ancient movies, the archaic movies, when you watch movies where the kingdoms are fighting, you normally see the king and the four front runners always in front to lead the war, right? But when you see these propagandists, these people who promote this agenda of letting the foolish, ignorant ones go out there to kill people, do you see the scholars themselves coming out to fight? Do you see the scholars ever coming out to stone somebody or do something? No, they will only send the foolish ones because they refuse to study. They refuse to learn. So when a scholar tells them, go and beat him, they will go. Right? And then you end up losing your life and your senses just because a scholar told you to do. Why doesn't the scholar send his kids and his family to go and do that fight, to go and kill somebody and see how the law will deal with them? You understand? So they use the sheeple. They use the ones who are uneducated. The uneducated ones, whenever they are told, they do it. And that's the problem, especially Africa is facing now. Right? So this is why the correctional officer, babashuaib, I'm doing my best to wake the masses up, to wake people up. I can do my best, but I cannot do it all, right? So I would need you, my audience, to also study for yourself. Teach the other people around you. It will be easier job for me. That's the point I'm here for. I'm not here to tell you, oh, I'm the best or I'm the most knowledgeable person on earth. No, right? Tap into my knowledge, I can tap into yours, because the more we grow together, I can learn from you as well. This is how life is. You learn from people who are ahead of you in knowledge. When you come up, they will also learn from you, because maybe you improve it on a lot of things that I'll get to learn from you as well. So this is how knowledge works. Musa alayhi salam, Quran chapter 18, verse 65, he went to seek for knowledge. Even though he's a prophet of God, God could have decided to teach him without even going to a teacher, right? But God decided to what? Let him go to another teacher to learn. Some things you go to other people to learn. It doesn't mean you don't know anything. You might not have gotten the chance to reach that knowledge yet, but you might be wise, you might be knowledgeable, but not in the same field. So that is why I dedicate my time to sit here and teach people. You understand? That is the point. Hey, Salam, Isa Abdullah Shamu, I see you. Do you know about the documentary claim that Petra is the real Mecca? That is done by Dan Gibson. I've watched it. Don't take that serious. Like, he based his evidence on the hadiths and hearsays and narrations, right? And from the standing point of view, his perspective is not even a believer's perspective. So there's a question mark on the documentary. I did a video on it. Watch my series, Hajj series. I spoke about it in one of my videos in Hajj series playlist. Kindly check it, you see it, right? Where I said the Hajj is not something. I gave a title that Hajj is not a debate or something. Count Up says, Salam Baba, can I ask a question in chat? Send me a message. I'm going to answer some questions I've been asked. I'll come back to you. Let me see. Let me see what I've missed. Metal says, can we say Allah is the greatest as well, per your explanation? I don't think you got the explanation. If we say Allah is the greatest, there's a comparison. Comparing with who? When it comes to his status as God, you can't compare him with anybody. Do you get my point? His status as Allah, God, you can't compare him with anybody. But when it comes to attributes, for instance, mercy is an attribute. Kin is an attribute. Those things you can compare. God is the best of creators because there are other creators. They are the creator of iPhone. There's a creator of television. There's a creator of Tesla. Do you understand me? There's creator of AI, robot, whatever. But God is the best of creators. That is an attribute. Fine, it can be compared in that. When it comes to how do you mercy, you compare. When it comes to wisdom, you compare. But when it comes to God, there is no God but Allah. You can't say Allah is the greatest. Of which gods? Look, if you are talking about football players, and you say Messi is the greatest, we are talking about football players now. So the moment you say Messi is the greatest, you have compared him with a lot of players. But when it comes to God, Allah is Allah alone. There is no God, la ilaha, no deity except him. Then you say Allah is the greatest. Greatest of who? This is the logic I'm putting in people's head. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel. Understand how superlative forms work. When it comes to Rabbul Alameen, the reason why God says he is the Rabbul Alameen, because there are other lords. When we say Lord, it simply means master, right? Just like if you go to the courtroom, we call the judge my Lord. There's nothing wrong. Look, go to Quran chapter 12, chapter of Joseph. Start reading from, I think, verse 31, coming downwards. Joseph told one of the prisoners, remember me at your Lord. Remember me at your master. The word Rabb. Other people are lords. But depending on the context, understand how the Lord is used. So God is the Rabbul Alameen. Do you see the point? That's why he is the Rabbul Alameen. But when it comes to the aspect of Allah, La ilaha, it is only the mushriks and the liars who are fabricating ilahun and then giving other God. They say Jesus is God. This is God. My stone is God. My shoe is God. Kanye West is God. Pharaoh is God. These are concepts of God, people. The moment you say God is the greatest, it means you acknowledge there are other gods besides God. And now you are saying Allahu Akbar. What? So understand the logic I'm giving you here. That is why it's not befitting for you to call God Allahu Akbar. Call him Al-Kabir. Quran chapter 13 verse 9. He called himself Al-Kabir. Are you more smarter than God? He called himself Al-Kabir. Why should we call him Akbar? That is the logic here. You get my point, brother Metal. Okay. Majid Mandela says, I get you clearly, understand Rabbul Alameen. Yes, thank you. Mod Ashari says, Salam, can you explain 4615? I hope there's more time. I'll come to that. That should be the third question I'm targeting. The Hajj seems like Muslim praying to a stone. Yes, some of the mushriks, they are praying to the stone because they have no idea what they are practicing. Quran chapter 17 verse 36 says, وَلَا تَخَفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. You just don't go buy tickets and go to Hajj and do what you don't know. That is the foolishness of most of the mainstream Muslims. Know your religion, know your deen, know what you're doing. Don't do things out of foolishness and just scholars telling you rubbish and you don't investigate. On the day of judgment, you are on your own. Remember that. Quran chapter 33, verse 67. On the day of judgment, people will tell God, قالوا ربنا إن أطعنا سادتنا وكبراءنا فأضلونا سبيلا. They will tell their Lord, indeed, our Lord, we have obeyed our masters and our leaders, and they misled us from the way, because you foolishly follow them blindly without reasoning, without asking necessary questions. Why do you think people are here asking babashuaib questions? They ask me questions because I can prove it. I give them the sources. I'm not just here to talk from my head. Am I smarter than everybody in the world? Why should you let the scholars who sometimes Salam, Frank. Okay, let me go to the question I was asked. So Muhammad Mubarak says, please, what's your take on Quran 24, 2? That is Surah Nur, right? Let me share the screen before I go to Brother Omar's question here. So Quran chapter 24, verse 2. God says that the fornicatress and the fornicator hence flog each one of them 100 lashes, and do not be taken by pity for them both, according to the religion or the deed we can see the judgment of God, if you should believe in God and what? And the last day. And let a faction of the believers witness the punishment of them both. So now coming to this question, the brother asked, what is my take on this verse? First of all, when we say fornicatress, is different from somebody who just went once and and had sex with somebody. That is not a fornicatress. A fornicatress or fornicator by definition is someone who regularly does it. They do it for a living. They just do it. He's just a fornicator, just like we have a football player. When we say a football player, it's not somebody who wears his boots once and go and play football and then he comes in. That's not a football player. A football player is somebody who does it for as a profession. He like, even if he's sleeping, he's doing that in his sleep. That's a footballer. So when we say a fornicator, a fornicatress, that is why the person is given that title. They do it for a living. They like, you understand, fornicator or fornicatress. That is what the verse is telling you about, right? So now the fornicatress and the fornicator hence flog each one of them 100 lashes, and do not what? Be taken by pity for them both, according to the what? Religion of God or the judgment of God, right? If you should believe in God and the last day, and let a faction of the believers, it says believers, not Muslims. Remember carefully. It didn't say mushriks. It didn't say sectarians. It said the believers. Do you want to know the correct believers? Go to Quran chapter 8, verse 2 to verse 4. Quran chapter 8, verse 2 to verse 4. That is where you see the criteria of true believers. We are not talking about Quran chapter 2, verse 8. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. We are not talking about that. Those the ones who say, I believe in God at the last day, but they are not believers. They don't do the act of worship, which normally signifies that they are believers. Not those believers. We are talking about true believers. Those are the ones God says they should witness. Not the mushriks around you, your houses. Not those ones. Those are not even Muslims. They are mushriks. God says, let the believers witness. Because believers, just like Jesus says, let the one who has not sinned cast the first stone, right? So the condition God is setting here is up to standard. It's not like you just go and accuse somebody falsely and say, hey, I saw her fornicating with somebody. No, not that. Not that. So when you read the verses into context, verse 3, you go to verse 4, you get to understand how people can be accused falsely and how people have to see it. 4 witnesses. One witness see, he has to call another witness. I call, and you know what a witness is? To observe with your eyes, to be present and see it when it's happening. And it's not just one-time scenario. We are talking about a fornicator. Do you understand? Regularly. That is my take on that verse, right? So it's nothing like you just say, oh, we find this girl sleeping with somebody. No, not in that sense, right? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Can I have your emails? Many young streamers, you can send me email on bush2g9 at hotmail.com, right? Just bush2g9 at hotmail.com. You see some of my emails on some of my pages. Just check my YouTube, go to the about, Facebook, go to the about, TikTok, go to the about. You see my emails there, right? Frank Linveld, you're welcome. Salam. Okay, then the next question is, okay, so let's go to Omar's question. He says, can you explain usury and interest? This point, can you explain usury and interest? Now, this is another interesting part. I used to have an audio version of this topic, and I remember somebody asking me if I can do a full version on this topic again, right? So let me address this usury part. When we say riba, riba is the same word you can use for interest and you can use for usury. But how does it work, right? Let's see how it works. Yeah. Now, when we say usury, we are talking about you giving loan, you lending money to somebody who is in need. You lend money. So let's say I give you €1,000. So when I lend you the money, and when you are coming to pay back, then I say you have to pay €1,200. That becomes usury. That is usury. But in another context, if I'm selling stuff, let's say I'm selling this mic and I'm selling it for €1,000, even though maybe I bought it for 800 and I'm selling it €1,000. And you come and buy it and I sell it €1,000 to you. What I get is interest. That interest is in the form of business. It's not haram. However, lending you the money and taking the interest, that becomes the usury. And that becomes haram. So I'm going to go into the verses and show you how it goes, right? So first of all, when you go Quran chapter 3, verse 130, and then I'll share the screen and let's see what the verse says, right? Let me share the screen. Unfortunately, for those on TikTok, you will not be able to see that. Sorry about that, right? Salam Limani Marana, I see you. So let me go Quran chapter 3, verse 130. It says, "Oh, you who believe, do not consume usury, double and doubling, but beware of God, so that what? You may succeed." Right? So God is warning the believers not to consume usury. So usury, like I said, it is the act whereby you lend somebody money, and then when the person is coming to pay you back, then they have to pay interest on it. That becomes usury, right? So this usury is forbidden by God. So all you who believe, do not consume usury, double and doubling. Do not. But beware of God so that you may succeed. So I take you to the next verse. So Quran chapter 2, verse 278. Quran chapter 2, verse 278. Oh, where am I now? Yeah. It says, "Oh, you who believe, beware of God and what? And leave what remains of usury. If you should what? Be believers." So if you are a believer, beware of God and leave. So the interest you are looking from lending somebody money, when they are coming to pay you back, that interest you are looking for, because imagine giving somebody, you are not giving him to go and do business. You are giving somebody who is in need, who is poor, who is struggling, and you are giving him money to survive in order to come and pay you back. Why are you asking for interest? You understand? You're suppressing the person's life. Do you get my point? It is not in the form of tijara. If it's business, I'll show you the example. If it is done in the form of transaction, it's different. But if you are just lending somebody money, somebody came to you to borrow money, and then you are compounding, doubling interest on it, that becomes usury. So God says, leave what remains of what? Usury. Leave it. Don't take it from the person. Or you believe, beware of God, and leave what remains of what? Usury. If you should what? Be believer. So if I believe, I refrain from it. So you, the believer, God is advising you, when you lend somebody money, don't take the interest. But I'm building up the point, right? Then God goes to the same chapter, we go to 275. He says, those who consume usury are only standing like one who stands being beaten by the what? By the devil with madness. That is because they say transaction is only like usury. But God has made transaction lawful. Transaction is lawful and has outlawed usury. So usury is outlawed by God. It's haram by God. Usury has been made haram by God. But transaction is allowed. So we will see how it works. So whoever a preachment from his Lord comes to him and then refrains, thus he may have what has preceded. Whatever you have done in the past, before the advice, the preachment of God comes to you, whatever you have taken interest from the past, you can keep it. But in the future, you don't need to go ahead. Then he says, and his affair belongs to God. And whoever goes back, then those are the companions of the fire. They will be there eternally. So we can see clearly the verse I gave you. It is warning the believers not to take usury, because it means you are the one lending money to somebody. So you shouldn't take the interest from when you lend somebody a loan. Don't take interest from it. Just let them bring the equivalent money they took. Okay. So the next verse, I take you to Quran chapter 4, verse 161. In chapter 4, verse 161, it says, and they are taking of usury while they had been what? Forbidden from it. Because God has made it haram. You don't have to take interest from somebody when you lend them money. It is haram. You the one lending the money and asking for interest. It is haram. Somebody will say, what about me going to take the money? Me, the one who is the borrower. Am I in the fault? Do I have sin on me? We are going to find out. You are not to be blamed. The one who is lending you the money and taking interest has to be blamed. Do you get the point? Okay. So then, and they are taking of usury while they had been forbidden from it, and they are consuming of people's wealth with falsehood. And we have prepared for the disbelievers among them a painful punishment, just like the banks do to ordinary people. You go to take loan from the bank, they know you are suppressed. They know you are not capable of paying back on time or something. You are not even going to do business with it, but then they will add interest to you. So the bank, according to God, they have to refrain from taking such an interest. I can understand if somebody is going to do business and then they transact with you to take interest. Fine, transaction is allowed. But in terms of usury, somebody who is poor or needy, you give them money and you are taking interest, God says is forbidden, right? Okay, so let's see. And we have prepared for the disbelievers among them a painful punishment. So let's see how you, the one paid, what is your stand? You, the one paying back the loan, what is your stand? So I take you to Quran chapter 30, verse 39. And whatever you give of usury, you, the one who is giving back, who is paying back the loan, the borrower, who is paying back the loan, whatever you give of usury to increase in the wealth of the people or of people, the one who borrowed you, who lent you the money, you came back to pay him money. So that interest you are adding to give him back, God says, then it does not increase at God. You don't get any blessing from it. You, the one who went to borrow the money, after you borrowed the money, you are now coming back to pay the loan. So coming back to pay the loan, that interest you added to give to that person, you don't get any blessing from it. So then God says, but whatever you give of charity, whatever you give of out of that from charity, God says, desiring the countenance of God, then they are those whose will be what? Multiplied. So then you will get a reward. If you take that interest and give it to charity, fine. You understand? So that is why some of the Islamic countries, they invented what they call halal bank. The halal bank normally will give you loan and no interest because they know you have to do things for your life. But when it comes to transaction, we transact that, hey, I need money from you. Just like Shark Tank. For those who watch Shark Tank, if you have never seen Shark Tank, kindly Google it, search on YouTube Shark Tank. You come to somebody who is rich, you have a business, you transact. Then he say, I will give you this money for this percentage in your business. That is like a transaction, right? That is allowed by God because you have to mutually contract. But coming to you to borrow money, and then you are going to lend me money, and you say, okay, Shoaib, I'm lending you this money, and you know I'm not going to do business. I'm only going to feed my family or something. And then you call for interest. That is forbidden by God. You understand? So let's understand how that works. And I'll be doing a full lecture on that, inshallah, in the near future, right? So let's move to the next question. Yeah. Balogun says, well, how about believers borrowing from bank? Like I said, the one you going to borrow, you don't have the blame. Nowhere did God say you have the blame. You the one going to borrow the money. The one lending you the money is the one being warned not to take the interest from you. You the one going to borrow the money. If you go to pay back the money, you don't get any blessing because you are adding interest. That interest, you don't get any blessing. Your money is just that gone. Yeah, take into Yusuf Salih, take into account Quran chapter 23, verse 97 to 98 is very necessary. Rabbi a'udhu bika min hamazati shayatin wa a'udhu bika rabbi an yadurun is very helpful. Right? Is the devil's trying to incite you with evil suggestion or other things. Also, Quran chapter 41, verse 36. Whenever the devil incites you to any evil suggestion or something, you have to seek refuge with God. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Or you use the dua I gave you, Quran chapter 23, verse 97 to 98. It is not easy finding the truth and following it. The devil has to disturb your peace. And that's how life is, right? So keep up. Don't give up, right? Don't give up. Yeah. So let me check what I've missed on TikTok. I have done 1 hour, 40 minutes. I have 20 minutes more to bounce to go. Let's see what I have missed here. Yeah, what am I missing? Yam says, brother, you and Abu Bakr, who understand Quran better? I don't know what to say on your question. I'm reading the messages on TikTok. So far, I've not seen anything interesting. Revolution leader says, but you should have picked people for questions. There, you don't understand. I'm doing multiple streams, right? The multiple streams I'm doing, I'm streaming from TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, right? I'm streaming from, let me see here. Yeah, I'm streaming from Facebook, YouTube, and then TikTok. So if I pick somebody from TikTok, those on YouTube and Facebook cannot see the person. They might hear, but they cannot see what is going on, right? And the person I pick up here wouldn't appear on my program. The voice might appear fine. But the point is, let me see what I can do. Yeah, for those who want to, yeah, Frank Lindved, I will come to your question before I end. For those who want to ask a question on TikTok, you can call. I will just try to put it on speaker out, and then people will hear. Robson says, brother, I was asking myself, can we kill small bugs like flies, ants, or mosquitoes? Can we kill? No, for no reason? There has to be a reason. It's either they are a threat to you. If they are a threat, of course, whatever is a threat to you, you have to defend yourself. But if they are not threats, they are walking their path, allow them to go, right? When I catch insects, if I can catch them alive, I throw them out. I don't kill them. But if they are in a dangerous position that I think is harmful for me, I have to stop them. They cannot live in my house rent-free without paying rent. So if they have to come as intruders, then we have to fight. But other than that, if it's easily for me to take it out, I can just take it out. So there's nothing like intentionally killing them. I don't support that, right? Yeah. Balogo, you are laughing. Yeah, they cannot live in my house rent free because who invited them? How can the insects be in my house? What are they trying to do? Franco Vega says, what is the gene? What is the gene? Iblis. Iblis is a jinn. And they are the invisible beings, you don't see them. You cannot see them unless they take a form, right? So if you take the example of Musa alayhi salam, when he threw his stick and then the stick started moving, he thought it was a jinn. He thought the stick, his staff was a jinn, like because the way it was moving, right? So they are entities you don't see. You cannot see them. According to Quran chapter 7, verse 27, they see you from where you do not see them. So when you go to Quran chapter 28, verse 31, when Musa alayhi salam dropped his stick and he started moving like a snake, he thought it was a jinn. He thought it was a jinn. So he started running and God told him, do not run. Right? So it tells you jinns can take forms and shapes and sizes, right? But according to God, the definition he gave us concerning the jinn, you don't see. They see you from where you do not see them. Right? That is another instance. And so I would say they are the invisible beings. They are invisible, right? Invisible. Like you don't see them, but of course they can reveal themselves. And that is where the concept of making movies of invisible people, normally you watch movies, they make people invisible, you don't see them, and they are trying to interfere with people's life. That concept. If anybody tells you they have seen a jinn, they should bring the jinn physically, like, and describe how they look like and tell us. They take other forms and shapes and sizes. To see them in their real appearance, I beg to differ. Quran doesn't say that. The jinns are actually smarter than us. They are smarter than human beings, yes. And that is why whenever God wants to talk about something difficult, he will call the challenge that even if the jinns should help the human beings, that cannot be achieved. And we saw the jinns even helping Sulaiman alayhi salam in Quran chapter 27, when he asked who can bring him the throne of the Queen of Sheba, right? I think, 27. And then one of the jinns says, by the time you get up and sit down, I'll bring it. And then the other one, by the eyes blink, I'll bring it, right? And they've been doing a lot of favors for Suleiman. They make, pots and everything for him. Jinns are very smart. And it tells you, if Iblis can mislead your great-great-grandfather Adam, it tells you the power, the capability that the jinn has, right? Because the jinn, Iblis himself is a jinn. He misled the father, our great-grandfather. And then also, when you go to Quran chapter 72, verse 6, it tells you people seek refuge with the jinns, and these jinns cause them burden. And that's why people go to them for spirits, for sorcery, magic, and also. When you take Quran chapter 2, verse 102 to 103, at the time of Suleiman, it tells you even the jinns taught the people sorcery, right? So the jinns are more smarter, right? But if somebody knows God very well, and he has put his faith on God, rely on God, then yes, you can override them, just like Suleiman override the jinns. However, people will tell you working with the jinns is haram. It's a lie. If working with jinns is haram, Suleiman wouldn't have been working with the jinns, right? So just like in this modern day world, I can be a believer, but I can employ somebody who is an atheist to be working for me. It's just a mutual agreement concerning work. It has nothing to do with faith. So jinns can be your friend depending on what they can do for you, but you shouldn't worship them. That is what you have to be careful of. But working with the jinns is never haram, right? If somebody tells you it's haram, they should first of all tell Suleiman his is haram, right? So that is the wisdom behind it. Sister Alma Josie says spiders cannot simply live. Yeah, they cannot live rent free. Tell them to find their own apartment somewhere. Yeah. Anyways, Liman Imrana says, can you please give us the Quran verse that you just explained about the usury again, please? Imrana, I will advise that if you re-watch the program, you see all the verses. I just don't want to repeat for the sake of, so hopefully I will know you understand this. If you re-watch the last part of my lecture, you will see all the verses because normally I put them on the screen, right? So you watched it. Frank Lindveld says, please, brother, can you explain this ayat 4361? Please. Oh. Okay, let me explain Frank first. 4361. I have about 10 minutes more to go, right? Right, 10 minutes more to go, 2 hours. I'm getting exhausted, right? So for those on TikTok, if you're not following my page, kindly subscribe and follow my page so that you can see my next live program, God willing. Frank Lindved is asking a question concerning Quran chapter 43, verse 61, and I'm sharing it on the screen here. Now, if you want to understand what this verse is talking about, it says, and indeed it is a knowledge to the hour. So do not doubt about it. And follow me. This is a straight path. Now, most of the translation, you see that they are trying to make this verse about Jesus. And then they say, indeed, he is the knowledge to the hour. No, the verse is not talking about Jesus. It's not about Isa. And I'll show you why. Let me give you an example. If you read the verses above, right, start from 43:58, and they said, are our gods better or him? That is, they're talking about Jesus. You can start from above also. Verse 57. And when the son of Mary was cited as an example, then your people turned away from it. Talking to the prophet, right? Your people, you Muhammad, your people turned away from it. And they said, are our gods better or him? Right? They did not cite him to you except for argument. They cited Jesus just to argue with Muhammad alayhi salam. In fact, they are an adversary people, right? Verse 59, he, Jesus, was only a servant whom we favored, and we made him an example for the children of Israel, right? Verse 60, And if we had willed, we could have made angels among you succeeding on earth. If God had willed, he'll have done that. So you see how the context goes. From 59, God says, if we have willed. Now, verse 61. And indeed, the masculine pronoun here is attributed to the book or the Quran. God uses masculine attributes for the book. Now, how did I deduce, or how can you know that it is talking about the book or the Quran and not Jesus? I'm going to show you. Look at the context. And indeed, now I'm not going to translate the it. I will leave it. So innahu is a knowledge to the hour. So do not doubt about it. This it here is a feminine noun. So he's talking about the hour. The hour is a feminine noun. So this it here is a feminine pronoun. So biha is attributed to the hour. What about this innahu? What is the attribute? We are going to see it. So God says, follow me. So follow me. If we are following God, we have to follow what? The book. Quran chapter 6, verse 155. God says, "Fattabi'uhu," follow the book. It's a masculine pronoun. The damir used there is a masculine pronoun. So this masculine pronoun, now God says, follow me. Where do we follow God? From the book. Then he says, this is a straight path. So this has signified the straight path of God, which represents what we call the masculine pronoun, innahu, which means the book, the al-kitab, the Quran. So indeed, it is a knowledge. The what you are reading, the book, the Quran, it is a knowledge to the hour. It is the book which gives you everything concerning the day of judgment. Do you understand? The Quran you have, the book, is a knowledge to the hour. It gives you every knowledge you want to know concerning the hour. The Quran talks about it. The Quran even tells you about what will happen in the day of judgment, how you'll be raised, how you people will go to hell, how people will go to the paradise, what you will be given, what you will face, what you will say, how things will happen. Quran explains everything. It gives you knowledge to the hour. That is what the verse means, 43 verse 61, right? So there's nothing complex or confusing about it at all. Ladies and gentlemen, if these questions keep coming like this, I don't think I'll end the program for today. Seriously. Wow. I wish I could have time to answer all your questions, but time is the problem. Somebody is asking, Frank Vega says, will people be in hell forever? That is an interesting question, right? However, if I take you to Quran chapter 11, yeah, I'm getting exhausted and I have to also use my medicine. My nose is starting to get blocked, so I haven't used my medicine yet. So Quran chapter 11, verse 107, right? Let me start from here. I start from verse chapter 11, verse 105. The day the hour comes, no soul will speak except by his permission, and some of them will be unhappy, and some others will be happy. But as for those who will be unhappy and in the fire, for them therein is exhaling and inhaling, eternally therein, as long as, listen carefully, they will be eternally therein as long as the heavens and the earth are there, right? Except what your Lord wills. So, with the exception of what God wills, we can only say you are there until further notice. So, to say you are there forever and ever still rests with God. He can decide what is next. So, he says, except for what God wills. Indeed, your Lord is doer of whatever he intends. So, if God has intended to take people from hell and put them anywhere, that's up to him, right? Then we go to 108. As for those who will be happy and in the garden, They will be there in eternally as long as the heavens and the earth still exist, right? Except what your Lord wills. Then he says what? Giving without cutting off. So that is how it goes. So accept what God wills. People will be there in as long as the heavens and the earth endure. So accept what God wills. If God wills that they are going to be giving break, that's up to God. Right? Uh-huh. Ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. I've done 2 hours. Please pardon me and let me rest, right? Hopefully, I'll try to see if I can be online. No, I don't think I'll be here on Saturday, right? Saturday, we have the live program. Thank you, Yusuf, for the gift. Saturday, we have the International Quran Translators Conference, right? It will be broadcast live via ikra.steady. Kindly subscribe to their page. Find them ikra.steady. You can find them whether Facebook, whether YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Kindly find them and then what? Subscribe. Enjoy the conference, right? I'll be there, inshallah. I'll be at the conference to explain my position on the Quran and how the translation has been done. And this is the great Quran, the hardcover, right? For those who have ordered it already, you have it. Those who have had PDF, you have it. And those who are about to order it, I recommend you get the copy. I'll be talking about this on Saturday, inshallah. Right? My session will start about, I think, is it 2? If I'm right, it's about 12 p.m. Ghana time. Right? 12 p.m. Ghana time. I think UK time, I'll be there at like 1 p.m. Yeah, so kindly watch and you enjoy, inshallah. You'll be talking about, you'll be seeing a lot of international Quran translators that you never got to interact with. They will be available on that platform where we get to, right, talk about the Quran. Yeah. I think, Sister Alma, yes, I'm getting sick again. Actually, I didn't get enough rest, and I didn't get enough rest lately. So that is why this thing is happening again. So I need to take my medication and get some rest. I'm getting tired. I'm exhausted. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Correctional Officers program, babashuaib, aka the Correctional Officer. I'm doing my best to enlighten people, to wake up people, wake up the masses. I know not everybody is willing to wake up, but I can do my best. I think I have fever. Maybe. I think so. Yeah, because I have a minor headache, right? So I need to get rest. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. I appreciate your presence. For those, unfortunately, I'm not able to get the time to answer your question. I'll be focusing on your question next time, God willing. So kindly bear with me. Hopefully, maybe Friday. If not because of the conference, I will have done a program on Saturday, right? But unfortunately, because of the conference, so kindly join me and support us all, right? We have people like Adip Yüksel, we have we have a lot of them, right? That you can join. You watch everybody talk about the Quran and the translations we have done and whatever we have to present. I appreciate the support, ladies and gentlemen. For those on TikTok, thank you for coming. For those on YouTube and Facebook, I appreciate your presence. Yuri Ligu, you came late. I wish I could have answered your question, but I'm exhausted and my time is up. But hopefully, join me on my next program. I'll be willing to answer your question, inshallah. Right? It's Ikra dot. Let me put the link here before I go. For those on Facebook, on YouTube, I put the link before I go. It's ikra.steady. Their web page is what I'm going to put here. They are on YouTube and Facebook. You can find them there. That is the link. It's ikra.steady/international-Quran translators-conference, right? You can search them. I've put it on my status. Just search them. Yeah. And yeah, there's a brother, Muhammad, also. For those who are following Muhammad, he's willing to stream it, inshallah, on his page. He will stream it for people to get to watch. So hopefully, if I'm not distracted enough, I might stream it also for people to watch on my page. I'll be on live. They will stream it live for people to watch. Don't worry. Inshallah, it will be a beautiful program to watch. Let's hope I'm fully in shape for this. I thank you all for your presence. I appreciate that. I've done 2 hours. It's enough. I'm getting exhausted. You can see. I appreciate your support and your presence. And this is the correctional officer, babashuaib. We keep in touch again. All I can say is peace be upon you, and thank you all for the support. For those on Facebook, on YouTube, this is where I say salam alaikum to you all. And this is where I say peace out.